innovator extraordinaire, extremely well known for a lot of things that you do. Why did you do Texas White Oak?
I didn't know you were going to ask that question. Gee, throwing me off my game here. Thank you. Isn't she great? Come on, let's give her a hand. So, why did I do Texas White Oak? Well, it all comes back to a couple of themes that you all have been out here before. You know, we focus on here. One is Texas terroir, and another one is sustainability. They're not the only things, but those are two focuses of here. So, I started going back over, you know, in my mind over time about my wine drinking and what I really liked and didn't like. And oftentimes, as I was on my own, enjoyment journey of wine, I kept drinking bolder and bolder reds, and then often they had, new oak in them. And in France, they historically have paired a lot of times their terroir with the grapes that are grown in a specific region, and they go to neighboring forest and they harvest those trees and they make the oak barrels out of it. And it's part, the combination of the wine in a region and the oak in a region, makes the totality or a lot of the totality of the terroir of that region. And I'm thinking in my mind, we don't have that yet in Texas. We got grapes, we have lots of good growers and lots of good fruit to work with, but we're missing probably the second, in my mind, in red winemaking, the second most important component, and that is oak aging. I mean, just look around you in this room, what do you see? Barrels and barrels and lots of barrels. I mean, so why don't we use Texas oak? And so about 6 years ago, I started working on this project, and I didn't realize it was going to take so long, but it did. If it was 100% of my focus, it'd probably shorten the period of time, but I've got a lot of other things I'm juggling too. So I started out by just saying, well, do we really have oak out there that we could find that's suitable here in Texas? And it didn't take me too long to figure out, well, yes, we do. We have pretty large stands of Texas white oak that are out in Deep East Texas. So I had to learn all this. I had, to kind of contact some people who are more expert in this area. I initially started out by calling the Stephen F. Austin University in Nacogdoches, and they're the forestry university. If you all are not aware of it, they're low. The mascot is the lumberjacks. So that's kind of a giveaway, right? So I called the dean's office there, and the dean wasn't available and referred me to one of the professors there, and I started talking to him. He got excited about this, and I said, I need to find somebody who can help me get my hands on some Texas white oak, so that we could experiment. And a couple of calls later in a list, one went to Brad Hughes, who is the executive director of the Texas Forestry Association, and Brad got excited about this too. He gave me about 3 names to call, and I ended up, the person I connected with was Russell Elder. And I'll probably mention his name, a few times here today, because he's been a huge, huge partner in making this whole thing work. This oak table up here, is donated by Russell. You'll see Elder hardwoods on it. And some of you may have noticed he actually has a hardwood store right there in Stonewall. So I called Russell, and he got excited about this and said, "That's really cool. I don't know much about wine, but this is a really cool idea." He says, "I actually have some Texas white oak boards that have been sitting outside for about 2 years in my lumberyard here in Jasper County." And so I asked him if I could purchase those boards, and he sold them to me. We brought them here to Bending Branch, and on a couple hundred yards away from this building, I left them outside, aging in the weather, so that they could be cured enough to make products from it that we could try as an experiments with to flavor oak in Texas wine. So we kept them out here another year, and as many of you know who study wine, that it's really important to have aged wood, because otherwise you're going to have these nasty green flavors, and it's going to be kind of astringent, and you're going to get dill flavors and those kind of things. So you want the weather and the bacteria and the fungus and all that to do their magic on the oak. So after another year of aging out here, then my first idea was, all right, let's make barrels. And so I started calling cooperages around the country, and I told them how much wood I had, which was only about, 50 board feet or something like that, and it wasn't a huge stack. And I couldn't get anybody other than one very small cooperage in California. They wanted so much money to make these barrels that I decided to go a different route. And this is where we get into the sustainability side of it. So I decided to use what's called oak complements or oak inserts. And for those of you who are anywhere familiar with a barrel, we have a bung here that covers up the hole in the top of the barrel. And so you could put oak inside a neutral barrel, and you can mimic very, very closely, extremely closely, the effect of a brand new barrel for 20% of the price. So I then connected with a company called Interstave. The winemakers here are probably familiar with Interstave. They were the first cooperage in the United States to make inserts to go inside the barrels for oak aging. And they were excited about it. They said they would be willing for a price to work with me. So I shipped the wood to California.
This part is not sustainable, but we're working on it.
Yeah, that part we're going to cure here very soon. But so yeah, the first part, that was, the price of this was kind of ridiculous, but we sent it to California, and then I had them put these chains together, and you can come up and see those in a bit, but they're 84 blocks of 1 inch square and about ½ inch deep blocks that are on these chains, and the surface area of those chains equals to a half of a new barrel. So you just weave these things into the barrel. So they have been making these kind of inserts, and they're used all over the country and all over the world, really, and also used in wine and bourbon to finish off the products. So then we use two different toasts. We use medium plus and plus plus. So when we buy new barrels here, 90% of the new barrels we use is medium plus, which is just a good toast level for red wines. And medium plus plus is a little more aggressive, and you can use that with wine also, but you can also use it with bourbon. So we had these produced, they were shipped back here, and then we started the process of experimentation. So the first thing we did was we took shavings from a few of these blocks, and we put them into 750 milliliter bottles, which is the traditional size that we bottle the wine in, and we leave it in there for 2 to 3 weeks or so, and we mimic the amount of oak proportionally in that volume of wine. So you can not get an absolute idea, but you can get a reasonable idea of what the outcome is going to be, at least a zone that it's going to be in. And so we picked 3 wines to start with, and that's the Cowboy Cuvée, the Petit Verdot, and the Tannat. And we'll be getting into more details about the outcomes of all that in a little bit. Looks like you're ready to say something.
No, that was great. This is why we call this the Tale of Texas Oak, because it's quite a story to get to that